Okay, so get ready because today we are going to explore the wild world of spider sex,
Right.
where the stakes are high and things can get pretty messy.
Yeah.
We are diving into chapter 4
What?
from a book all about extreme mating behaviors.
Hmm.
And this chapter on spiders is a real eye-opener.
It really is. It's one of those topics that really challenges our assumptions about the animal kingdom.
Uh-huh.
We tend to view nature through a human lens,
Right.
but that can sometimes lead us astray.
Yeah, that's for sure. So today we are on a mission to uncover the truth about sexual cannibalism in spiders.
Fascinating.
We'll explore why it happens and how males
Right.
try to navigate this, let's just say, intense dating scene.
Yeah, it's easy to see it as just a horror show, but
Yeah.
as we dig deeper, I think you'll see it's actually a fascinating window into evolutionary biology.
Okay, so let's paint a picture. Imagine a male golden orb weaver spider.
Okay.
This little guy is trying to woo a female who's many times larger than him. It's a David and Goliath situation.
Yes.
With some serious consequences if things go wrong.
Yeah, and it's not just limited to this one species.
Yeah.
Sexual cannibalism occurs across many different types of spiders and even in other invertebrates,
Oh.
like praying mantises and scorpions.
Yeah.
It definitely caught the attention of naturalists like Darwin, who were initially quite surprised by this behavior.
I bet. It must have been a shock to those Victorian-era sensibilities.
Oh, yeah.
To help us understand the complexities of this behavior, we are turning to Dave Clark, the head keeper of invertebrates at the ZSL London Zoo.
Great.
He spent decades working with these creatures, trying to understand their mating rituals and
Yeah.
even breed them in captivity, which can be a real challenge.
Clark brings a unique perspective to this topic because he's not just observing spiders in the wild.
Right.
He's actually trying to create the right conditions for them to mate and reproduce in a controlled environment.
Yeah. He's even had some, shall we say, memorable experiences. Like the time he witnessed a Rodney bird eater mating that didn't quite go as planned.
Oh, no.
It highlights the incredible risks that males are willing to take to pass on their genes. It's not just about survival, it's about ensuring the continuation of their lineage.
Absolutely.
Okay, so before we get into the wild tactics male spiders use to avoid becoming a post-date snack, let's talk about the heart of this conflict. Males and females have very different goals when it comes to reproduction.
Yeah.
Males in many species try to mate as often as possible to spread their genes far and wide.
Right.
But females are often more selective, prioritizing healthy offspring and making sure their young have the best possible start in life.
This difference in reproductive strategies creates what biologists call sexual conflict,
Okay.
which is essentially an evolutionary arms race between the sexes. Each sex is trying to maximize its own reproductive success, even if it means putting the other at a disadvantage.
And this leads to some seriously strange and creative mating rituals.
Yeah, it does.
For example, some male spiders actually try to appease the female with gifts,
Gifts.
like a tasty insect wrapped in silk.
It's like a pre-mating bribe to distract her and make her less likely to see him as a meal.
Clever. But other males take a more forceful approach. The male nursery web spider actually ties the female up with silk before mating.
Wow, that's one way to ensure she stays put.
Yeah.
But perhaps even more bizarre is the male Darwin's bark spider who engages in oral sex, stimulating the female before and after mating.
Whoa.
It's thought that this might help displace the sperm of previous suitors,
Oh, wow.
giving him a competitive edge.
It's amazing how diverse these mating strategies can be. And then there's the male nephelid orb weaver who takes things to a whole new level of commitment
Oh, really?
by detaching his own genitals during mating.
Oh, my goodness. It's a phenomenon known as remote copulation. His genitals stay behind to continue transferring sperm while he makes a quick escape.
That's a serious sacrifice. And finally, there's the wasp spider who targets underage females, guarding them until they're about to molt a time when they're vulnerable and unable to attack. It's a bit creepy, but hey, it works.
It does. It just goes to show that male spiders have evolved an impressive array of strategies to navigate the treacherous world of spider sex.
So is it fair to say that all this talk of cannibalism is a bit overblown?
Mm.
Is it possible that sometimes it's more of an accident than a deliberate strategy on the female's part?
That's a question that's been debated by scientists for a long time. Some researchers have argued that sexual cannibalism is simply a byproduct of the female's size and hunger, not an intentional act. The famous evolutionary biologist Stephen Jay Gould even suggested that it might be more about opportunity than aggression.
So essentially being in the wrong place at the wrong time
Yeah.
with a very hungry partner.
Exactly. But our expert Dave Clark has a different take based on his years of experience.
Okay.
He's observed that even unreceptive females can be problematic for males. It's not just about avoiding death, it's about getting noticed and chosen as a mate in a very competitive environment.
That makes sense. It's not enough to just survive. You have to stand out from the crowd and prove yourself as a worthy mate.
Precisely. And this brings us to a spider that's mastered the art of standing out.
Okay.
The peacock spider.
Yeah.
But we'll save that story for part 2 of our deep dive.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, that's a good one. So the peacock spider, it's a tiny jumping spider,
Okay.
native to Australia.
Yeah.
But what it lacks in size, it more than makes up for in showmanship.
Oh, I bet. They really are a sight to behold. The males have these vibrant, iridescent colors, and when they want to attract a mate, they put on this elaborate dance,
They do.
lifting their abdomens and waving their legs in this dazzling display.
It's a reminder that we shouldn't underestimate the power of visual communication,
Right.
even in creatures that we might think of as primarily reliant on other senses.
But you mentioned earlier that most spiders don't have great vision.
Right.
They depend more on vibrations to sense the world around them.
Exactly.
So how does this visual dance fit into that sensory landscape?
Well, that's where the research of Damien Elias
Okay.
at UC Berkeley comes in.
Uh-huh.
He's dedicated to unraveling the sensory world of the peacock spider.
Cool.
And he's using some innovative techniques to do it. Think laser vibrometers,
Oh.
high-speed cameras, and even, believe it or not, pantyhose.
Pantyhose.
Yeah.
Now I'm really intrigued. What role do pantyhose play in spider research?
Well, it turns out that pantyhose create the perfect surface for studying spider vibrations.
Okay.
Elias discovered that the male peacock spider's dance isn't just a visual spectacle. It also creates this complex pattern of vibrations that travel through the ground.
Oh, wow.
He can actually record these vibrations
Okay.
and translate them into sounds that we can hear. It's like a secret language of love.
That's incredible. So it's not just about the flashy colors and movements.
Right.
It's also about these subtle vibrations that the female picks up on.
Exactly.
But why go to all that trouble? What's
Yeah.
the evolutionary advantage of this multi-sensory courtship?
Well, imagine the female peacock spider's world for a moment. It's a constant barrage of sensory input, a cacophony of sights, smells, and vibrations. To stand out from the crowd, the male needs to do something dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where his dance comes in.
Okay.
It's a way to cut through the noise and signal his fitness to the female in a way that she can't ignore.
It's like he's creating his own little nightclub, complete with lights and music.
Exactly.
But I've also read that this dance might be mimicking the movements of prey.
Yes.
Is that true?
That's one of the fascinating hypotheses that Elias is exploring.
Okay.
He suggests that the male's dance might be tapping into the female's predatory instincts. By moving in a way that resembles her usual prey, he's capturing her attention in a way that no other suitor can.
So that's both brilliant and incredibly risky. It's
Yeah.
like he's flirting with danger to win her over.
He is.
I guess when it comes to love and survival, sometimes you have to take a gamble.
You do. And it seems to be a successful strategy for the peacock spider. This combination of visual cues, vibrations, and even this potential prey mimicry creates a powerful and irresistible courtship display.
It makes you wonder if the female is aware of this manipulation or if she's simply responding to this deeply ingrained instinct.
That's a great question,
Yeah.
and one that researchers are still trying to answer.
Yeah.
But what we do know is that the female isn't just a passive observer in this courtship ritual.
Right.
She's carefully evaluating the male, assessing his fitness, and making a decision about whether he's worthy of passing on his genes.
So it's not just about the male avoiding being eaten.
Right.
It's also about the female exercising her choice and selecting the best possible mate.
Exactly. And this brings us back to the topic of sexual cannibalism.
Okay.
From the female's perspective, it's not just about a gruesome meal.
Yeah.
It's about ensuring the survival of her offspring by choosing the fittest mates and even gaining some valuable nutrition in the process.
It seems like we often forget that nature can be pretty harsh.
It can.
And sometimes survival requires making tough choices.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we shouldn't impose our own human values and judgments on the animal kingdom.
Absolutely. We need to approach these behaviors with an open mind and a willingness to understand the evolutionary forces that have shaped them.
Speaking of which, you briefly mentioned something earlier called matrophagy.
Yes.
What exactly is that?
Matrophagy is a phenomenon where spiderlings actually consume their own mother for nourishment.
Whoa.
It's more common in certain species like the desert spider Sigidaphus lineatus,
Okay.
and it highlights the incredible lengths that some mothers will go to ensure their offspring's survival.
That's mind-blowing. It makes the idea of sharing a sandwich with your kids seem pretty insignificant in comparison.
It does. It definitely challenges our human notions of motherhood.
So we've seen how male spiders use elaborate dances and risky tactics to avoid being eaten.
Right.
And we've touched on how females benefit from cannibalism.
Mm.
But there's another fascinating twist to this story.
Right.
The suicidal spider. You mentioned a spider expert named Eileen Habets who studies this phenomenon.
Yes.
What can you tell us about her work?
Eileen Habets is a researcher who focuses on the mating behaviors of spiders.
Okay.
And one of her areas of expertise is the dark fishing spider.
Mm-hmm.
What's fascinating about this species is that the male actually dies after mating, even though the female doesn't kill him.
Wait, he just dies?
Yeah.
Why would that ever be a beneficial strategy?
That's the question that has puzzled scientists for years.
Yeah.
It seems counterintuitive from an evolutionary perspective.
Right.
Why sacrifice yourself if it doesn't directly benefit your offspring?
Yeah.
But the dark fishing spider isn't alone.
Okay.
The male redback spider also exhibits this self-sacrificial behavior.
Okay, now I'm really curious. What's the evolutionary logic behind this suicidal mating strategy?
Well, in the case of the redback spider,
Okay.
research suggests that by being cannibalized, the male actually increases his chances of fertilizing more eggs. The female is also less likely to mate with other males after consuming him, ensuring that his genes are passed on.
So in a way, it's a win-win situation for the redback male,
It is.
even if it means his own demise.
Right.
But what about the dark fishing spider?
Yeah.
Is there a similar explanation for their suicidal behavior?
That one is still a bit of a mystery. Eileen Habets discovered that even though dark fishing spider females can mate with multiple males, those who eat their mates tend to have more successful offspring.
So could it be that consuming the male provides the female with extra nutrients that help her produce healthier eggs?
That's one possibility. It's been theorized that eating a member of your own species, what scientists call a conspecific,
Okay.
might provide specific nutritional benefits that are not available from other food sources.
Yeah.
But more research is needed to fully understand the complex factors driving this behavior.
It seems like the more we learn about spider sex, the more questions we have.
That's the beauty of science. It's a never-ending journey of discovery.
Well, I think our listeners are ready for a bit of a break from all this talk of cannibalism and suicidal spiders.
I agree.
Let's move on to a lighter topic in part 3 of our deep dive. You know, when we talk about sexual cannibalism, it's hard not to think about the praying mantis.
Yeah, it's true. The praying mantis has become like this
Right.
pop culture symbol of the femme fatale, this dangerous and alluring female
Right.
who devours her mate.
And I think that image has influenced how we view female spiders as well.
Right.
You know, we often portray them as these aggressive, almost monstrous creatures.
Yeah, there's definitely been a tendency to focus on the more sensational aspects of their behavior.
Yeah.
But as we've seen throughout this deep dive, sexual cannibalism is rarely about aggression or
Right.
dominance.
Right.
It's a complex adaptation with a range of evolutionary benefits for both males and females.
It's about survival, reproduction, and ensuring the success of the next generation.
Exactly. And as we've learned, it often benefits both sexes,
Right.
even if it seems counterintuitive at first glance.
So our mission with this deep dive was to go beyond those sensational headlines.
Yeah.
And really explore the nuances of sexual cannibalism in spiders.
We wanted to understand the science behind it, the evolutionary pressures that have shaped this behavior over millions of years.
And I think we've done a pretty good job of unpacking that.
I think so.
We've seen how males have evolved elaborate strategies to avoid becoming a meal. From offering gifts to performing intricate dances to even sacrificing themselves for the sake of their offspring.
And we've also gained a new appreciation for the female spider's perspective. She's not simply a passive predator, but a strategic and resourceful mother,
Right.
making choices that maximize her reproductive success.
It's a reminder that the natural world is full of surprises and that we shouldn't judge other species by our own human standards.
Absolutely. There's a whole universe of fascinating behaviors out there if we're willing to look beyond our preconceived notions.
So the next time you encounter a spider web,
Yeah.
take a moment to consider the intricate web of life playing out within those silken threads.
You might be witnessing a delicate dance of survival, reproduction, and evolution, a story that's far more complex and intriguing than the simple act of a female eating her mate.
Yeah, it's a reminder that nature is full of wonders and that even the smallest creatures can teach us profound lessons about life and adaptation.
And who knows what other mysteries are waiting to be uncovered in the vast and intricate world of spider behavior.
Well, I think we've given our listeners plenty to think about today. It's been a wild ride exploring the world of spider sex, but hopefully they've come away with a deeper understanding of these fascinating creatures.
I always find it inspiring to consider the incredible diversity of life on Earth and the ingenious ways that organisms have adapted to their environments.
And that's what the deep dive is all about, diving into the complexities of nature and uncovering the hidden stories that connect us all.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep wondering about the incredible